Welcome to the WSUS Inventory and Reporting video. This is a level 100 video designed for new users of the EminentWare WSUS Extension Pack. In this video, we're going to discuss the basics of the WSUS inventory. We're going to create a WSUS scheduled inventory event. We're going to discuss some advanced WSUS inventory scenarios involving replica servers. And we're going to review some WSUS reports that you will find in the core installation. Let's start with discussing the inventory event itself. The purpose of the WSUS inventory is to collect server configuration and status information from the WSUS server and to populate it into the EminentWare database for purposes of reporting. This information includes updates and the approval status for those updates, as well as computers that are registered with the WSUS server and the installation status of the updates on those computers. All of the WSUS inventory information is collected via the WSUS API. No direct access to the WSUS database is made. So this insulates the EminentWare environment from the WSUS environment completely. And also again, we'll note that inventory is required to support the reporting functionality in the extension pack. To begin, to schedule an inventory event, we'll use the EminentWare system configuration node of the console. We'll drill down in there and select management groups and drill down to the Managed Enterprise Management Group, or if you have multiple management groups, whichever management group contains the WSUS server that you wish to perform the inventory for. In the Details pane of the management group, select the WSUS server and then click on Schedule Inventory in the Actions pane or from the context menu. You'll be presented with the standard EminentWare Extension Pack scheduling dialog box. In the first part of the box, we'll select the start time for our WSUS inventory. In most scenarios, we'll want this inventory to occur during non-working hours, so that we don't impact any other daily activity that might be occurring on the WSUS server. We also provide the ability here to configure this event to run based on universal time rather than local time. So if you're executing a WSUS inventory for a server that supports multiple time zones, then you might want to schedule your events according to universal time. There's also a drop-down which allows you to quick select a start time based on 30-minute increments, but the actual event time can be scheduled with 1-minute granularity. Typically, WSUS inventory events will run on a daily basis. However, we might also have scenarios where we might want to run additional WSUS inventory events in order to get more current information in our database for reporting. For example, we might configure an inventory event to run a second time on the second Tuesday or the second Wednesday of each month in order to get that sort of status information from Patch Tuesday into our database faster. Finally, the range of recurrence allows us to define when the event runs. The start date defaults to the day the event is created. The default end date is no end date, so all events will run in perpetuity. The second screen you'll be presented allows you to choose some WSUS inventory options that affect how data is collected from the WSUS server. The first option, Approved Only, allows us to select whether to inventory all updates in the WSUS server catalog or to inventory only those updates that have a status of approved. The third option allows us to filter whether to include or not include updates in an unknown state. So this would generally be updates that have just been synchronized to the WSUS server and clients have not yet executed detections to determine status. The second and fourth options are relative to replica environments. The Direct or All option allows us to choose whether we're inventorying the computers reporting directly to this WSUS server or all computers reporting to this WSUS server, as would be the case with an upstream server in a replica server hierarchy. Related to that is the fourth option, Enable Computer Update Status, which allows us to choose whether to collect or not collect the computer update status information for those computers reporting to the update server. The design of the EminentWare Extension Pack is that the EminentWare server will be configured to inventory every WSUS server in the environment, so those values are set to direct and enabled. In this diagram, we see the EminentWare server executing inventory events in yellow against each of the WSUS servers in the hierarchy. In this way, the EminentWare server gets the most recent information from each server in the earliest time possible. However, for some organizations where it may not be practical to inventory every WSUS server, perhaps there's a large number of replica servers and there's simply not enough time in the day to inventory each server, or perhaps there's constrained bandwidth between the upstream server and the replica server that simply won't support both reporting roll-up to the upstream server and an EminentWare inventory. It is possible to inventory just the upstream server. So in this scenario, you would configure only one inventory event against the upstream server. The direct or all option would be set to all, and the collect computer update status option would be set to enabled. There are also some hybrid scenarios in which you might collect part of the information directly from the replica server, which would involve other permutations of those two options. Probably the most significant disadvantage of inventorying only the upstream WSUS server in a replica hierarchy is the delay time it takes between the client information becoming available to the replica server and it finally getting populated into the EminentWare server for reporting. You could also create the WSUS inventory event from the WSUS server node of the console by choosing the WSUS inventory action item. When choosing this action item, the scheduling dialog and the WSUS options dialog are inverted, and you'll be presented with the WSUS options dialog first. Let's take a look at creating an inventory in the console. Here we select the WSUS server, right-click, and select WSUS inventory. We'll use the default options for the WSUS inventory options. Click on Save. Schedule our event to run at 3 a.m. It'll start tomorrow morning, and we're done. We can then go to Administration and Reporting, Schedule Tasks, and we can view our task here. We can also access the properties of this task, which would allow us to change the scheduling parameters for the task. So if we wanted to change this to run at a different time, that's how we would do that. We could also send an email notification upon completion of the task if we wished. And finally, we'll get the summary screen showing us the information about the event. Scheduling it through the management group, we've selected the Manage Enterprise node, select the WSUS server, right-click, select Schedule Inventory. We get the scheduling window. We'll set this event to start at 4 a.m., starting tomorrow morning. Click on OK. Here we get the WSUS inventory options. After the schedule event, select the defaults and go back and view schedule tasks. Here we see both events. We only really need one task, so we'll go ahead and delete the task that we just created, which was the duplicate. And now you've seen the creation of a WSUS inventory task in the console. Let's take a look at reporting. There are two categories of reports available in the EminentWare Extension Pack related to the WSUS environment. The Windows Server Update Services category contains basic reports about the WSUS server and updates contained in the catalog. The Windows Server Update Services Analytics category contains advanced analysis related information based upon the correlation and relationships between approvals, installation status, the updates, and the computers served by that WSUS server. Let's start by looking at some of the reports that are available in the Windows Server Update Services category. The first group of reports simply provides some statistical information based upon the percentage of updates meeting a certain class of status. For example, the percent downloaded category provides a number of count fields for those update statuses, and then provides us the total download percent column in our report, which we can use to sort and or filter based upon the percentage of updates that have been downloaded to a machine. The other reports are similar to this one. They contain the same basic columns, except the last column is changed in order to match the particular purpose of the report. So in the percent failed report, we have the failed percent column. In the percent installed report, we have the installed percentage column. In not installed, we have the not installed percentage column. Pending reboot has that value, and there's also a report for the unknown updates if you're collecting those in your WSUS Inventory event. Another collection of reports that you'll find in the Windows Server Update Services category are those reports that are based upon the WSUS Inventory information collected from the Windows Update agent through the WSUS basic inventory features that are provided. So much of this information is also accessible through the WSUS native console, or you can use these reports to obtain information across your entire enterprise. So information about basic computer system configurations, installed disk drives, printers, installed programs, and those sort of things are available in these reports. And the third group in the Windows Server Update Services reporting category are this group of server configuration or service status reports, including some information on approval rules, downstream servers, the email notification configuration, the server options, products and categories configurations, and some other information that you may find useful from time to time. The second category, the Windows Server Update Services Analytics category, provides a number of reports, most of which are all built directly from the Computer Update Status Report, which is the core of pretty much everything. The Computer Update Status Report takes all of the updates, all of the computers, all of the approval statuses, and all of the installation statuses across all of the WSUS servers that are configured in your EminentWare environment and puts them together in a single report. So we can see in the bottom of this screen here we have essentially 6 columns, and it represents all of those values. All of the other reports that are built in this group are filtered or some sort of modification of this particular report. For more information about the extension pack and the functionality in the extension pack, you'll find additional videos on the EminentWare website as well as product documentation. We have peer support forums that you can use to communicate with other EminentWare users as well as the EminentWare customer support staff. There's a blog on the EminentWare website that is frequently posted to with items of immediate interest. If you're a paying customer, you can use the Customer Incident Portal to submit bugs or feature enhancement requests. And for all users, customer support is available via email at customersupport@eminentware.com.